Imagine a device so extraordinary that it could show us the exact moments from the past. Could you witness the most significant events in history, like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, with your own eyes? Well, that's exactly what a Catholic priest named Father Pellegrino Ernetti claimed. Father Pellegrino Ernetti claimed that the Vatican once possessed a device known as the chronovisor, which could reveal any historical event, regardless of its time span. The Vatican immediately dismantled the machine after it demonstrated its immense power, and they never spoke about it again. Father Ernetti wasn't just any priest. He was a brilliant scholar, a world-renowned exorcist, and one of the Vatican's most trusted figures. He spent years studying music, ancient languages, and even paranormal phenomena. One day, Ernetti confided in another priest, Father François Brun, revealing that he had been part of a secret project that developed a machine capable of viewing the past. This machine, the chronovisor, was no ordinary invention. Ernetti's invention, the chronovisor, functioned by detecting waves of light and sound, which he believed were eternally present in time. Anyone could capture and transform these waves into images and sounds, witnessing historical events unfold in real time. Realizing the potential danger of this technology, the Vatican ordered the dismantling of the machine. Yet before they did, Ernetti claimed to have seen one of the most important events in Christian history, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. A supposedly chronovisor-taken photograph emerged in 1956. It claimed to show Jesus on the cross, in his final moments of suffering. For believers, this was proof that the Bible's accounts were true. But for others, it raised terrifying questions. Critics later claimed that the photograph was a fake, a copy of a religious statue. But this only deepened the mystery. The Vatican's silence has only fueled more speculation. Someone supposedly created a machine in the 1960s with the power to merge these two forces, potentially rewriting history and shaking the foundations of both religion and science. This machine was called the chronovisor. Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a respected Catholic priest, scientist, and exorcist, was experimenting with sound waves while researching Gregorian chants. Working alongside Father Agostino Gemelli, a physicist, they encountered something extraordinary. During one of their experiments, the machine they were using to record chants picked up something else, a voice. It wasn't just any voice, though. It was the voice of Gemelli's deceased father. Reports of this event to the Vatican in 1952 provided the first indication that sound waves, like light, never truly disappear. Inspired by this discovery, Ernetti and a secret group of scientists began working on a machine that could capture these waves of the past. But the chronovisor was not just about sound. According to Ernetti, it could capture images from any point in history, turning the past into a living, breathing moment. The idea of the chronovisor created a deep sense of fear, not just in the scientific community, but in the Vatican itself. The Church held the belief that science should never interfere with faith. Faith necessitates trust in the invisible, in the unprovable mysteries. The chronovisor, with its ability to replay the past, threatened to destroy that balance. The machine's ability to prove the crucifixion of Jesus could also expose any historical inaccuracies in the Bible, exposing flaws, inconsistencies, and possibly lies accepted as religious truth for centuries would be necessary. Suddenly, faith would no longer be a matter of belief, but of cold, hard facts. And that scared the Vatican more than anything. But it wasn't just the Church that feared this technology. Governments and powerful organizations also saw the terrifying potential of the chronovisor. This machine's ability to peer into the past could enable it to spy on anyone, anywhere, at any time. No secret would be safe. Imagine the consequences if world leaders, historical figures, or entire nations could have their private lives exposed to the world. The ability to reveal everything could result in a loss of control, and the chronovisor could become a weapon in the wrong hands. Father Ernetti asserted that the Vatican directly ordered the development of the chronovisor in secret. It wasn't just priests working on this project. Some of the world's most brilliant minds were supposedly involved, including Enrico Fermi, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who helped develop the atomic bomb, and Werner von Braun, a pioneering rocket engineer. Together, these scientists pushed the boundaries of what was possible, combining ancient theories with modern technology. Ernetti acknowledged that the Vatican shut down the project upon realizing the full potential of the chronovisor. The Church, above all, feared that the machine would expose secrets they couldn't afford to let out. In the late 1950s, the Church quietly dismantled the project and concealed the machine, ensuring it remained hidden forever. For centuries, faith has asked people to believe without seeing, to trust in the unseen. But science, especially the kind of technology behind the chronovisor, challenges that notion by demanding evidence. This struggle between faith and science is exactly why the Vatican kept such a tight lid on the chronovisor. The machine didn't just threaten to rewrite history, it could have completely changed how we understand truth itself. In our world, secrets shape decisions, define alliances, and spark conflicts. Those who wield influence shape the narrative of history. Now, picture a machine that could access unchallenged evidence of past events. With such a tool, the Church could either prove or debunk foundational moments in human history and religion. By selectively revealing or concealing events, they could not only defend their teachings, but even rewrite the past. This level of control was both a blessing and a curse. The chronovisor's power went beyond confirming or denying religious accounts. It meant that no private moment in history could remain hidden. Any individual's history would become accessible, scrutinized, and revealed, thereby ending privacy. For an institution that relies on authority and guidance, the chronovisor offered the ultimate weapon: control over what people believe to be true. Once the Church understood the chronovisor's implications, they had a critical decision to make. If they retained it, they would gain control over an unprecedented tool of influence. However, they also recognized the risks. What if someone else got their hands on it? This was more than just a scientific or religious problem. It was a global issue. Suppose a government or even a rogue organization managed to obtain the chronovisor. This group could rewrite the fabric of history, manipulate people's perceptions, and instill fear by revealing everyone's hidden pasts. This could expose public figures and leave the world's leaders vulnerable. The device's existence posed an ethical and political dilemma. Should anyone, no matter how righteous, hold the power to see into anyone's life without permission? Realizing these dangers, the Church chose secrecy over revelation. By hiding the chronovisor, they could protect both themselves and the world from the risks of complete exposure. However, this choice wasn't without controversy. The decision to keep this technology hidden raises questions about trust and transparency. This brings us to a question that has echoed throughout history. Should those in power keep secrets for the greater good? The Church's decision to silence knowledge about the chronovisor draws on an ancient debate. On one hand, secrecy can protect people from truths they aren't ready to face. On the other hand, hiding information can erode trust, making people suspicious and disconnected from those who claim to serve them. Consider how societies have evolved in the past century. As information has become more accessible, transparency has become a greater priority. However, with transparency comes vulnerability. By protecting certain truths, the Church believed it was safeguarding the public from chaos and the potential misuse of such powerful knowledge. This is a common thread in the stories of institutions that possess incredible knowledge or capabilities. In the world of the chronovisor, the stakes were incredibly high. Public access to the device could lead to the abolition of personal privacy and the emergence of a transparent reality. This is where the Church's authority intersects with human nature. People are drawn to mysteries. They want to believe in things that science cannot fully explain. The unknown allows for faith, a trust in something greater than ourselves, but the chronovisor would leave no room for mystery. It would either prove religious stories or disprove them, removing the space for belief. This was a risk the Church wasn't ready to take. For centuries, the Vatican has safeguarded secrets that many believe could reshape our understanding of history, humanity, and faith. By keeping the chronovisor hidden, they maintained a balance between knowledge and belief. But secrecy has its costs. As the years passed, people became more skeptical, questioning not only the Church's motives, but the nature of truth itself. In hiding the chronovisor, the Vatican retained control, but lost trust. The Church's decision to conceal the device reminds us that power, especially over knowledge, is double-edged. Too much secrecy can create distrust, and too much transparency can lead to chaos. In choosing secrecy, the Vatican aimed to prevent the unraveling of faith, privacy, and control over history, but in doing so, they left a legacy of suspicion. At the heart of the chronovisor story is a radical shift in our understanding of time and history. For centuries, we've seen time as a one-way journey, with the past disappearing the moment it happens. But if Father Ernetti's claims are true, that understanding might be flawed. The chronovisor suggests that time lingers, leaving behind traces that the right technology could revisit. The concept here is both extraordinary and unsettling. Every sound, every image, and every moment in history still exists, preserved as energy moving through space. Ernetti and his team propose the capture, reconstruction, and display of these time waves as if they were real-time events. If this theory is correct, it implies that history remains unseen, awaiting discovery. With the chronovisor, the past is no longer an abstract collection of dates and events. Instead, it becomes a living record, a continuous stream of preserved moments that anyone with the right tools could observe. If we could see every event, history would shift from interpretation to observation. Events like the signing of historic treaties, the rise and fall of empires, and even private, personal moments would become accessible. However, this living record isn't without complications. History, as we know it, is shaped by the interpretations of those who study it, historians, scholars, and religious authorities. They analyze documents, artifacts, and accounts to construct an understanding of the past. The chronovisor would bypass this process, presenting events without the need for human interpretation. But here's the dilemma. Seeing events unfold without context can be misleading, reducing complex situations to mere snapshots. At first glance, the chronovisor appears to offer absolute truth by providing first-hand views of history. In reality, however, it may present a new kind of mystery. While it shows events, it lacks the context that gives them meaning. For example, witnessing the crucifixion of Jesus might answer some questions, but raise countless others. Without understanding the cultural, social, and spiritual weight behind such an event, we might be left with more confusion than clarity. The chronovisor's recordings would lack the depth provided by interpretation, leaving viewers with fragments rather than a full understanding of historical events. In this way, the chronovisor's promise of truth may, in fact, create new mysteries. Traditional views hold that once something is done, it's gone. But the chronovisor challenges this, suggesting that events remain active and accessible in the present. The implications of this idea are profound. It turns history into a kind of permanent database where no event, big or small, is ever truly erased. This has deep implications for our personal lives too. Imagine every private moment, every conversation, every thought somehow recorded and accessible. It's a world where privacy no longer exists, and every part of a person's life could be replayed. This isn't just about history, it's about human experience itself. In such a world, secrets wouldn't last, and memories would no longer be personal. For the Church, this transformation of history from faith to observation posed a serious challenge. Much of religion relies on belief in the unseen, on faith in events that can't be proven or disproven. The chronovisor, however, offered the possibility of watching these events unfold, removing the need for faith. Imagine if religious mysteries were no longer matters of belief, but matters of observation. If the life of Jesus could be observed, faith might lose its meaning. Belief would become something based on proof rather than trust. The Vatican likely saw this as a threat to the very foundation of religion. Faith, in many ways, requires that there are things beyond human understanding, mysteries that encourage trust and devotion. But with the chronovisor, faith would be replaced by certainty, removing the sense of wonder that has long been central to spiritual beliefs. This was a risk the Church wasn't willing to take, so they chose to keep the chronovisor hidden. People and governments alike would have clamored for access, each wanting to uncover secrets and truths that could benefit or even control the world. Wars might have been fought over its control, alliances shifted, and power redefined. Imagine a world where no leader, past or present, could hide their actions, and every decision could be analyzed and judged by anyone with access to the device. But beyond the political implications, there's an even more personal cost to knowing everything. Shared experiences, trust, and memories form the foundation of human relationships. Knowing every detail, every moment, might destroy the bonds that connect us. The chronovisor could erase the boundaries of privacy, forcing people to confront every truth, no matter how painful or private. In hiding, the Vatican may have done more than protect its own interests. It may have shielded humanity from a truth too powerful to handle. If the device truly exists, it would mean that time is not a straightforward line, but a series of connected moments, all still existing in some form. The concept of history, of memory, of personal experience would all change. The Vatican's secrecy, the controversies, the rumored cover-ups, they all point to a mystery that the Church has chosen to protect, even if it meant hiding a discovery that could reshape the way we understand our existence. Faith, after all, often thrives on mystery and belief in the unseen. Once we see the past in its raw, unfiltered form, we lose the interpretive power that gives history its meaning. The existence of a device like the chronovisor would render history an open book, with every action and consequence on display for the world to scrutinize. If you're enjoying this video and want to dive even deeper into mysteries like this, consider tapping Super Thanks. Your support helps us keep exploring the world's most intriguing secrets, uncovering stories the world rarely hears. The Church may have recognized that some mysteries are essential and that they encourage people to seek answers within themselves, to build beliefs, to question, and to hope. There are those who believe that it's kept safe, away from the public eye, and used sparingly to observe history's most crucial moments. Others assert that they destroyed it to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Yet there's no official statement, no evidence, only silence and mystery. The chronovisor remains a story that pushes the boundaries of belief, testing the limits of what we think is possible. It's a tale of secrecy, power, and the relentless human pursuit of knowledge. And yet, maybe it's a story best left unresolved. Perhaps the Vatican understood that the true power of the chronovisor wasn't in seeing the past, but in leaving us to wonder about it. The mystery itself challenges us to reflect on our relationship with history, faith, and the unknown. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.